Well, hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm out here in the garden because it is growing and it's doing well, and I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a garden tour today. I didn't quite get on my whole gardening adventure this year like I typically do. Typically I start all my starts in the greenhouse. I didn't do that this year. When it was time to start seeds, I was kind of in a little bit of a mind funk, and the last thing I really wanted to do was be out in the greenhouse. So instead, I decided that I was going to buy my starts from a couple of the nurseries around here and try to support local. I did plant my garden about on time for what is normal in this area, which is around Mother's Day weekend. I believe I planted like the following weekend after that. And everything's doing really well. I did plant my peas, carrots, and some sunflowers a little bit before that, but everything that I have planted in here has been doing pretty well. I have had a couple issues with bugs getting in and killing some things, but other than that, everything looks really great, and we've been able to harvest some of the peas already. The girls and I have been sneaking some peas off the pea vines. They are delicious. I don't know how many are actually going to make it to growing full fledged peas in them because they're just so good as young little pea pods. Now, I did just water out here, so some of my plants might be a little wet or a little mushed down from the water. So don't think that they're not doing well, because they actually are. So as I said, don't mind some of these. They have just been smushed down by water, but we got our carrots right here. And then we planted a bunch of bush variety of the peas. Like I said, we've been picking them off about this size, so some of them haven't quite got to be very big, but there are some snuck down in here that are doing pretty good, and hopefully we'll get some peas out of them. But yeah, these are just too good not to eat. I did realize at first that I didn't plant anything over here that would use the trellis and climb up, so I did end up picking up some Armenian cucumbers, and I just stuck them in here. So these will take off and grow up over the trellis as these start to die out. Over here I got some peas that are a climbing variety, and you can see that they are growing up quite well, and these pea pods are quite a bit bigger than the ones that are the bush variety, but they're coming along quite nicely. Over here I do have quite a hodgepodge of stuff. I did start out with some cucumbers down in here, but unfortunately they've died. I planted 2 to begin with. The bugs got them. I planted 3 more. The bugs got them. So I said, to heck with it. I'm done. I don't care. But what I did do was I went in over here and I planted a bunch of the purple yard-long beans, plus some that I had saved. And I don't know what they are. I believe they were the yard-longs, and I didn't actually know what their germination success was going to be, because I have not planted those ones, and I saved them a couple years ago, but they did really well. And the majority of these are that. So this one right here is one of the yard longs, and these smaller ones are ones that I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do. And then I ended up planting a few of the pepper plants in the front here. Moving over to this box, we've got some more carrots, more of the beans. So again, here I did plant some of the purple yard longs, and then I did go through with the ones that I saved, and I planted some of those, and they've actually had quite a great germination rate. Now over here I originally started out with 2 of these butternut squash plants. One of them died, and the place that I sourced my plants at did not have any more when I went back to get some, so I just decided to leave this as is and then go ahead and fill this space in with more of the beans. Now moving over to this side of the trellis, we have more of the beans, the trailing beans. Some of those are the purple yard longs, and then the rest are the beans that I ended up planting. Like I said, they did have a great germination rate. Then over here we have some more of the pepper plants. I like to chop the pepper plants up and freeze them or dehydrate them. They're great to add to chilies and stews. And then here I have parsley. This I like to dehydrate, and I throw it into my chicken noodle soup and other dishes just for kind of a garnish and to bring some color into the dish. Moving over here, I have more beans. These are a bush variety. I've kind of planted this box in succession, and some of the newer ones that I've planted are just starting to come up, but kind of having issues with germination on them. But these things are coming along pretty nice otherwise. In this box right here, I have thyme and rosemary, and then I did a row of chives down the middle. I used to grow my chives over by my house, and the chickens have just decimated that area, and so I have to safeguard them here in the garden. Then in this area right here, I've got some, I think they're celebrity tomatoes and basil. I did try to plant some marigold seeds in here, but they never took off. So I've actually got some in the greenhouse that I will transplant out in here. In this box, I have some more tomatoes, but these are cherry tomatoes, and they are the orange variety. I can't remember the name of them. And then I've got some more basil over in this area. This box right here in the middle, we decided to fill up with sunflowers. We love to have sunflowers in the garden. It's great for the birdies come fall. We like to leave them up so that they have seeds to eat. I did also fill this in with zinnias, but none of them took off. I planted zinnias that I bought off of Baker Creek, as well as seeds that I had saved from years previous, but none of them came up for whatever reason, so kind of a bummer there. And then tucked down in here, and I do not remember the name of this plant, and it doesn't look like I saved the tag, but this is a medicinal one. I'm sure some of you guys might recognize it. Like I said, I forgot the name. I didn't really know where to plant this because it is supposed to get fairly big. And instead of letting it die a slow death in the seed pot, I just decided to plant it right here just to give it a place to live, and I will probably be transplanting it somewhere else. In this box right here, last year I grew my herbs. As you can see, I have some dill here. This is not something that I planted. This is something that has wintered over, and it's pretty healthy, and I'm pretty excited about that because I've always had issues growing dill. But what I'm really also excited about are my onions right here. These are Egyptian walking onions, and what makes them special is instead of growing a seed head like typical onions do, these grow the bulbs, and then they get heavy, they fall down. Wherever they fall down, their roots grow, and you get a new plant. So I love these things. I had a big patch of these over by the house. Once again, the chickens decimated them. I thankfully had given some to my friend, and she had planted them. They survived, and I was able to get some from her so I could restart my patch. I love these things because they start growing in February here. We are a 7A zone. So I am able to start getting green onions as early as February. They winter really well here, and all I do is just do the green onions. The bulbs really do not get big enough to actually utilize them. Stepping over here, this is my raspberry patch. I have had quite an adventure with this box the last couple years. I have gotten all of my raspberry starts from my parents. So the first year I got the raspberries, they were doing pretty good. Last year, we ended up letting the rabbit, Aaliyah's little rabbit, run around in the garden, and she made a tunnel in my raspberry box and ended up killing off a bunch of them. So I ended up getting some starts from him a few times already this year. So these ones I planted earlier, and they are doing really well. This was the second batch that I planted. They are not doing as well. I ended up having to cut all the stems off to try to hope that it will do something like it's starting to right here. But then I got a third batch, and this is some, they're kind of sad looking. Those ones are looking good. That one's kind of sad as well. And then we have that one that's kind of sad. But we'll see how they do. We'll not be letting the rabbit back in here, so hopefully these are safe from rabbit tunnels. The last garden box that I have right here, I did zucchini in, and then Avery planted a little thing of sunflowers, which are starting to bloom. But I think I actually seen the other day, maybe it's right here. Oh, I do have one little zucchini. I don't know how it's going to do because I don't believe that there was another bloom for it to actually pollinate. And then back here at the end of the garden, I haven't utilized the back of my garden for a couple years now, but this year I did get some potatoes in. I ended up planting this whole patch right here with potatoes that were kind of on their last leg. They did not look very good. I was not sure how they were going to do, but you can see here that there are some that actually did make it, so I'm pretty excited about that. And then over here on this side, I have got my onions. I ended up just planting some onion sets, and so yeah, they're doing pretty good, but we'll see how big they get by the end of the year. All right, so that's everything that I have here in the garden. I do have a couple things in the greenhouse, and they're doing really well, so I'm excited to show you guys those. But a quick stop right here on the side of my garden. I have this clematis that I had figured was dead. The chickens had gotten in here and tore a bunch of this stuff up, but they're doing really well. I ended up having to put this on top of here because I had some zinnias planted in here and the chickens ended up getting in this. I had something else here and they knocked it off. And I only have, I think, 2 surviving zinnias from them darn chickens. Over on this side, the chickens like to dust bath down in here, but I have this protected because I've got a bunch of zinnias trying to pop up, plus 1 little clematis. This is a fun little wind chime that Adam and the girls made me for Mother's Day. Avery wanted to make me a bell and she told Adam what she was thinking, and it in fact was a wind chime she was thinking about. So he cut all the pipes, and this we need to change out for something a little bit bigger, but he bent and drilled. He used some fishing swivels, and this was a copper thing that we had sitting out back in the paddock. But yeah, him and the girls fabricated this, and I mean, yeah, it does pretty good. It was honestly one of the best Mother's Day gifts I have ever gotten. All right, stepping into the greenhouse. It's a little crazy in here. The girls have been coming out and playing. They've been making little terrariums / aquariums. So I've got a lot of different things going on in here. A fake snake toy in a little aquarium, some Hatchimals in an aquarium, and another lizard in an aquarium. So anyways, they've been busy. What I'm most excited about in here are my watermelons. So I think I said last year in a couple of my garden videos that I planted watermelons in here and they did fantastic. So I wanted to do them again in here this year. I ended up buying a bush variety to try out in here because last year the tendrils, or the legs, whatever you want to call them, got so long they took up the majority of this greenhouse. And so I was hoping to be able to get a good yield without having to sacrifice being able to walk in here because the plants overtook everything. So anyways, these are doing fantastic so far. Like, I'm excited. I just put the seeds directly into the box. And this is what we have. The nursery that I ended up buying my plant starts from, they are actually a flower nursery, and they only are open until about mid-June. At the end of their season, they discount all of their flowers. So we ended up going in and we ended up getting a bunch more flowers to plant in here. So this is a new little box that we did. I got a bunch of marigolds for the garden. Over here, got some more as well as those. And then these are ones that we ended up planting earlier when we got the plant start. So these are a lot fuller. So this is my little planter. I can't remember which of the girls is claiming this one, but this one right here is Aaliyah's, and then this one down here is Avery's. Well, you guys, I hope you enjoyed today's garden tour, the June garden tour, that is. And I also hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If any of you guys know what that one plant is in the sunflower box, please let me know, because I lost the tag. I don't know what it is. I know it's a type of herb / medicinal plant. So yeah, I should have written that down, but I didn't. So bad record keeping on my part. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you next time.